Good morning, it's Wendy Hardnack, and I'm going to be doing another item for the It's a Candy Christmas collab, and I'm going to be doing bourbon balls. So here are the ingredients that I'll be using. I'll be using the semi-sweet chocolate, some plant-based butter, and I got this kind because it's in the squares. So I've never got this kind before, but I'm going to try it. And I've already got that melted. I'm going to use that cacao powder. I have the molasses and then the powdered sugar. And then I've got the parchment paper, got my gloves, got my utensils. But most importantly, I've got the walnuts and they are soaking in the good quality bourbon. And I will take a picture of the bottle of the bourbon that I used. I just didn't want to transport it because I had it open. And I will get started on this and I will come right back. But I wanted to show the ingredients and I'll be right back. Okay, I hope everybody can see this all right. So I got the butter melted and I just used this much. It's the little squares. It's in little squares, and so I thought that would be good for baking. And of course, y'all know me, I don't use recipes. So I'm just going to dump in here, kind of stir this up and see what it looks like. And I always use the wooden spoons or the silicone. Now I'm doing a different recipe this year. Normally I do the gluten-free ginger snaps, but I can't find any. And I was going to make some last night, but I had some things come up and I wasn't able to do it. So I was like, I'm just going to roll with this. So I'm going to do it a little bit different, and it'll all work out. And I'm just going to add a little bit of molasses. Molasses is pretty thick. Rinse that so I don't make a huge mess. So the cocoa back up a little bit. Kind of stir that up a little bit. Makes it kind of look like a pretty dark chocolate. I'm gonna go ahead and add. This is just walnuts chopped up, and it's been soaking in the bourbon. Actually smells really good. These are so easy. All I did was heat the butter up in the microwave. There are several versions and several different recipes, and I've made probably 4 different versions and take them on the holidays, and everybody's asking me, did you bring them? Did you bring them? It's like, they want to know. I'm supposed to bring toffee, peanut brittle, all kinds of stuff. Every time I go, I'm supposed to bring these certain items. Kind of funny, but there's a lot of stuff I just can't have anymore. Like gluten's just can't handle gluten. Sugar's really not the best, and once you start eating clean, you don't crave it anymore. It's just, and this is what it's looking like right now. It's still pretty thick. I mean, thin, loose, wet. So I'm going to add some more. And a little bit more cocoa powder. Smells good. A little bit more powdered sugar. I do have a little bit of brown sugar, but don't think I'm going to use it. Oop. And I'm messy. I just made a big mess on my shirt. That's okay. I just forgot to bring my apron. This powdered sugar is kind of messy. Got to kind of break up the clumps. Stir it and see where you're at. Now this would really be good. The other way I do it was butter, the powdered sugar, and the crushed up ginger snaps. You can crush up graham crackers. You still also do the molasses and everything. There's just several ways of doing it. So you get these where they're not so thin, or they're thick where you can roll them into a ball, and then you melt some chocolate and then you dip them. But you're going to have to refrigerate this after you get this all made to where it's thick enough to where you can roll into a ball. Then you're going to have to put it in the refrigerator or freezer, get them where they're firm, melt your chocolate, then dip them and let them set up. Now after you dip them in the chocolate, you can also do sprinkles. If you're, for the holidays, it is kind of fun to do sprinkles and sugar or whatever you want to put on the outside. You can do all sorts of things. Crush up walnuts, crush up pecans. I've seen all kinds of things done. There we go. It's getting thicker, but not quite the consistency that I want. I believe if I could have got the ginger snaps made, that would have been ideal. Would have gave the consistency and absorption to make it a lot thicker. And sometimes you just have to roll when you can't find things and you run out of time to actually make your own gluten-free ginger snaps. Because that is a process. I've made them before, and I've made it for a pumpkin cheesecake where I had to make the ginger snaps for the, and that was before I was gluten-free. I always had to try to find the ginger snaps and graham cracker crust for the pumpkin cheesecake. So I ended up having to make my own pie crust out of that. So I made the ginger snaps and crushed them up, and oh, they were so good. But they do have recipes for gluten-free. This is still pretty thick. Well, that's going to be a lot of sugar. There. And if you've been fortunate enough to get like Jesse's used sticker and his vanilla, you could add a little bit of vanilla to this. I even forgot my cookie sheet this morning when I came over here, so I had to borrow her cookie sheet. I think it's probably still sitting there on the couch. Okay, this is a lot thicker. Just make sure I get all the powdered sugar mixed up. And you do not want to, when you're making this kind of a recipe, you do not want to use a cheap bourbon. It makes a huge difference. There's a really good Kentucky bourbon that is just amazing. Add a little bit more cocoa powder. I got this at Trader Joe's. I like shopping at Trader Joe's and Whole Foods for almost everything. There, it's starting to thicken up enough to where get it mixed up real good. I can start rolling it into balls. It smells really good. And these can be frozen, so you can make a lot of this stuff early, which I don't think there's a less busy time of year for people that have farms and such. But if you were a regular working person and you had to go to work and stuff and then come home in the evenings, you could make up a lot of your Christmas candy and freeze it ahead of time. Okay, so now it's the consistency I can manage with rolling it into a ball. Not 100%. I'm actually just going to clean my hands, try it real quick, see where I'm at. Grab some soap. Okay, wash my hands real quick. I still think that's going to be way too wet. But I think once they go into the refrigerator, you'll have to do. Probably what I should have done was got them done like this and rolled them into the crushed up ginger snaps or gluten-free graham crackers, or even in the nuts if I had some crushed nuts. It's a little messy. They don't have to be perfect. You're going to dip them in the chocolate. And that's all I'm going to do with mine. I'm going to do this recipe, then I'm going to do the normal recipe. Like, there's another one that's totally different than this one. And I've made them both each year. So Christmas parties and family parties and all that. Now it's starting to get pretty tacky. It's messy. There we go. So this is a recipe that I haven't made, this one right here. I have like 3 other bourbon ball recipes I've made. But I thought I could easily do this one without the cookie crumbs, like the ginger snap cookie crumbs, but I'm thinking that's not really a good option now. But I think if they'll harden up, and then I can dip them in the chocolate, they'll taste amazing. It's really the only ingredient I really am missing on this recipe would be the ginger snaps. And then I also would roll them in the nuts and powdered sugar. This is life. And I like to play in the kitchen a lot. And so I like to just create new recipes and such. But I've never done it on video. And I also add vanilla when I'm at home, but I didn't want to bring a whole bunch of stuff. I figured this would probably have enough flavor without the vanilla. And I've never used this butter before, but it melted really good. I just can't handle the dairy. I still like my holiday treats. This is really fun. There we go. Actually, I'm probably gonna just do this tray right here. And then I'm going to just put the rest in some parchment paper, roll it up, bag it up to freeze, and then, or take it home, put it in the refrigerator, and then add the cookies to it. I'll just make some ginger snap cookies. It's really hard to find the gluten-free. And really, it's hard to find anything at the store right now. There's a lot of empty shelves. And my phone's ringing. There we go. Okay, I'm going to show y'all. It's still pretty thin. You rolled somewhat into balls, but I really think that it would have really made a difference if I would have added the ginger snaps. So anyway, I will come back later. Okay guys, we just wanted to show you what we got done. They don't look real pretty. And there's the end. This is what I got done, and I got these packaged up and they're ready to go. And those are the bourbon balls. The camera died, so I had to wait and do it now. All right, y'all. It's a Candy Christmas 22.